shall ye not touch. See that? So, hey, my brother, from the tribe of Ephraim. So you heard us teach before?
No, I have not.
You have not? Okay, so you go to church and everything?
Occasionally. Yeah.
Occasionally. Okay, so when you look on this sign right here, this is what your people went through. Yeah. Okay, they went through the Spaniards coming over, conquering them, teaching them Spanish. Putting up a Christ that looked like them, and a lot of y'all died by that cross.
Right.
They came with the cross and a false image of Christ.
Right.
Okay, so this is what we're trying to tell you, that we can prove that you're not Puerto Rican. Because you know what Puerto Rican means?
Teach.
Rich, poor.
Rich poor. Yeah. Why? Because when they came over there, they like, oh, it's rich over here.
Right.
And these people are submissive. We can kill them and get rich.
Right.
Let's name this place Rich Poor. Now our people walk around calling themselves Puerto Rican, not knowing that that name came from them being slaughtered. Get the Psalms 55. Psalms 55 verse 20. Check this out. So this is how they came. Like for instance, it was just one of their holidays they celebrated. Did you celebrate it?
I don't celebrate holidays.
So you didn't celebrate Thanksgiving?
My wife cooked, yeah.
So you celebrated it, brother.
Yeah,
Your wife cooked. Okay, but listen, you didn't know. Now you're about to find out. You're actually celebrating the conquering of your people. Because that's what they slaughtered your people, okay, and then they had a meal about it. And all them things represent something of that. The turkey represents y'all bodies, okay? The stuffing represents y'all guts, and what's that cranberry sauce represents y'all blood.
Right.
So that's how destroyed we are. We are actually celebrating our destruction.
Right.
Okay? Watch, read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
Read it again.
He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him.
So the Bible says that he put forth his hands against such that be at peace with him. Now, when they pulled up in their ships, they didn't know how to survive over here. They didn't know how to plant crops, nothing. Who did they run into? Your ancestors.
Right.
And your ancestors treated them peacefully.
Right.
Bring them on in. Have a seat. You know, sit down. We're going to teach you how to grow stuff. We're going to teach you how to hunt. But read on.
He hath broken his covenant.
But he broke his covenant. He made over 500 treaties with y'all. Broke every last one of them.
Right.
Read.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
What does the Bible say?
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
He was talking very friendly to y'all. They were smoother than butter. That's how he gonna get you to sign some contracts in a language you didn't understand.
Right.
Read.
But war was in his heart.
But what?
But war was in his heart.
Wait, while y'all was treating them nice, all they was thinking about is war. They was thinking about gold, land, and raping your women. That's what that was on their mind. Your mind was on peace. Why? Because Israel is a peaceful people.
Right.
Read.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter,
But war was in his heart.
his words were softer than oil.
His words were softer than oil. Read.
Yet were they drawn swords.
And just when you begin to trust them, they was pulling out swords. I mean, they put what? They gave your children, or all the people, they gave them the blankets with smallpox on it.
You know.
See what I'm saying? Do you know that the Bible says, never trust your enemy?
Right.
The Bible says. Once we come back to the Bible, it opens your eyes to everything's around. Because one thing about Israel, since they put up a so-called white man as Christ, right? We as Black, Hispanics, Native Americans, we kill each other all the time. But when it comes to the so-called white man, their mind is on forgiveness.
Right.
He gets shot down in the street, choked out. First thing a Black or Hispanic gonna say is, we forgive him.
Bring it up.
Why? Because they've been taught the Bible wrong. And they've been taught to look up to the so-called white man. and taught that their skin and everything is wrong. Read.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
What does the Bible say?
Never trust thine enemy.
I ain't never heard that in the Christian church. Never trust thine enemy. Yeah. Was the Apocrypha in the original 1611 King James Version that was translated? Yes, it was. Yes, it was, sir. Version. King James Version. Let's prove it to you. Because guess what? The Protestant Christians took the Apocrypha out of the Bible around the late 1800s. Okay? This is God's word.
The definition of King James Version, out of page 86 in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. When Elizabeth died in 1603, the crown passed to James I, who had been King of Scotland for 37 years. As James VI, several months after he ascended the throne of England, he authorized a new translation of the Bible to replace the Bishop's Bible. 47 of the best Hebrew and Greek scholars of the day were divided into 6 groups, 3 for the Old Testament, 2 for the New, and 1 for the Apocrypha.
How can they take something out of it? Think about that. You want to know why they take something out of it? Because when you deal with the Bible, what time was Christ? Who was ruling at that time? The time of Christ. Rome. Who was ruling before the Romans? Who? The Greeks. I wonder why in the Bible, right before it gets to the New Testament, it ends in Malachi. Malachi is the Persian and Mede captivity. When we were in slavery under Persian and Mede. Well, where's all the Greek history?
Bring
when
it
the
out.
white man came into power.
Right.
It's in the Apocrypha. That's why they took it out. Because it is very clear on what's going on.
Right.
So that's why when you get to the New Testament, it says there's neither Jew nor Greek. Everybody confused. Well, they didn't let you know that we was. Same thing happened to us under the Greeks. We were conquered, slaves, walking around as Greeks. Just like right now, our people will walk up and say, I'm American. Same thing happened at that time. You found it? Okay, I want you to go to Apocrypha real quick. Get, you know the one, Maccabees 1 and 1. Let's show them that real quick. And we'll prove to you that the Apocrypha is in the Bible. Watch, read.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened that after Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian,
After who?
after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian.
Who is Alexander? Yeah. So why would they take him out of the Bible, but they make sure he's in all your children's elementary schools? You're going to learn about Alexander the Greek. You're going to learn about him. You're going to see movies of him. But when it comes to him in the Bible, we got to get that up out of there. No, because that's when the white man first came into power. Keep reading.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, kings of the Persian and Mede.
So Alexander, when he started to rule, he killed who?
Darius, king of the Persian and Mede.
Yeah, he took down the Persians. That's written in the Bible. Our people don't know the Bible is a history book. Okay? And it's a book of prophecy. So guess what? All the history you lost because of the sword, you can now read it. And get back right. You understand? You gonna read all that history you lost. Read.
And the Medes, that he reigned in his stead, and first over Greece, and made many wars.
He made what?
Made many wars.
He was conquering everybody. You seen it in the movies. Read.
And won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
He took down all the kings of the earth.
And went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations.
He robbed many nations.
Read. Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
He conquered so much, he was ruling. The earth was quiet among him. Get verse 9. Watch this. Watch this.
Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them.
Now, after it says Alexander reigned 12 years and died. That's written in the Bible. He died because he was a homosexual. He died of syphilis. So he didn't reign that long. He reigned 12 years and then he dropped dead. But guess what? He gave his power to his 4 generals. That's what we're reading now. Read.
So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
So it's saying what?
And evils were multiplied in the earth.
So it says evils was multiplied in the earth when the white man came into power. You thought we was living rough. Evils was multiplied in the earth. Okay? Now I want you to get John 10:22. Let me show you that the Apocrypha is a true book. Okay? Because in the Bible dictionary, which we usually have here, but it's not here today, it tells you that when the King James Version 1611 was translated, okay, they had translators for the New Testament, the Old Testament, and one for the Apocrypha. Okay? Read 10:22.
This is the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication.
Well, it was at Jerusalem. Jerusalem. In the Roman Empire, Christ was celebrating the feast of dedication. Guess what? We are actually in that holy day right now.
Right.
We in a feast of dedication. It started Tuesday. So this is a people that have been robbed of what they really supposed to be honoring, and our job is to bring it back to the people. So you won't be sitting around a table of Thanksgiving of when your people was slaughtered. You'll actually be sitting around the table of what God commanded you to keep. And this is one of them. Read that again.
This is the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication. And it was winter.
And it was winter. The feast of dedication, it was winter. Read on.
And Jesus walked into the temple in Solomon's court.
And Jesus walked in to celebrate it. Guess what? The feast of dedication happened in the Apocrypha. That's when that holy day was happening. Okay? Why? Because guess what? Go get 1 Maccabees 1:41. That's what the Maccabean Empire was about. The Greeks took over their temple, destroyed it, and guess what? It rose up Judas Maccabees, and they went and regained the temple and rededicated it. That's the Feast of Dedication. And it was ordained in the time of the Apocrypha, and guess what? Christ celebrated it. Okay? Read verse 41.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
So that's what they always try to do. This king that took over, his name was King Antiochus or King Antiochus. He wrote to his people that all these nations that we conquered, they all should be one people. Read.
And everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed.
So their whole goal was for Israel to leave their laws. Because guess what? When we're sinning, other nations reign.
Right.
When we apply God's laws, he's going to put us back in our rightful position.
Right.
Read.
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandments of the king.
All the heathen was like, we cool with this. Read.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
And some of the Israel consented to his religion. Why? Because if you didn't, you was going to get put to death. Read on.
And sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
So they sacrificed unto idols, meaning now they worshiping whatever the Greeks worship. Read. And they sacrifice what?
And they sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
And they profaned the Sabbath. Read.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
So when he conquering, he's making them follow the strange laws of their land. Read on.
And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings.
These are the things we did to worship our God at that time. Read on.
In the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and feast and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh.
Now instead of sacrificing clean animals, they sacrifice swine's flesh. Read. This is what they was doing to our temple. Destroyed it. They was having parties, had whores in there, sacrificing pig. Read on.
And unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised.
And we would circumcise our children. Now they're saying you cannot circumcise your children no more. Read on.
And make their souls abominable.
That's abominable to the Lord. Read.
With all manner of uncleanness and profanations.
Now, why did they do all this? Read on.
To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandments of the king, he said, he should die.
Read that part again, verse 50.
And whosoever would not do according to the commandments of the king, he said, he should die.
So that's why they want us all get to one religion, so they would change what we know, hoping that we will eventually forget the law. Like right now, our people don't know who they are or what laws they're supposed to be keeping. Okay? Only thing they know about God is what they learned under the white man. And guess what? They accept it wholeheartedly and don't ask no questions. They surrounding the Christmas tree. Ain't got nothing to do with Christ. Right? They ain't ask no questions. But as soon as we come tell them what God say, they confused.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.